Right, the story starts in Asbury. I was in Asbury from 04, 05 to 06. I was there for like 18 months, nearly 2 years. 04, 05. You got to be, when I was there, you had to be doing over 4 years. For 18 to 21-year-olds, I was doing 6. A lot of lifers are there. They send all the lifers there. If you're a troublemaker, you get sent to Aylesbury. Yeah, it's a docile. It's a DOS pot, man. I've personally, I hated it nearly as much as what I hated Pentonville. I mean, mainly for the fact that you just have the piss taken out of you by the screws. You're a YO, you're a kid. You like to think you know how prison works and everything, but you don't. You don't know what your rights are. You don't know what you're entitled to. You don't know how to go around making a complaint. Screws just take the piss and get away with it. Don't know what your rights are. But this isn't a story about prison rights, Patch. Like I said, there's a lot of lifers. A lot of lifers. Yeah, I mean, some of the tariffs that these like 18, 19, 20-year-olds walking around with 30, 35, 40 40-year recommendations, which is basically where a judge says, I sentence you to life in prison with a recommendation that you serve 40 years before you're up for parole, which means you do your 40 years. Doesn't mean you're getting out. You do your 40 years and then you're up for parole, and then you can apply for a parole, probably get knocked back, and then you apply for it again in 2 years, every 2 years, or like that. This specific kid, and he was a kid, we was all kids, kid I'm talking about, was doing a 25. I can't remember if he was doing a rec. I don't think he was doing a rec. I think it was a 25-year sentence. I don't think he was doing a rec. A life, I should say, because the person lived. Right, he shot someone with a shotgun, blew half their head off, gone. Person lived. Had to learn to walk again, speech impediment, whatever you're thinking this guy's had wrong with him, because literally half his head went. You're right. That's probably what he had wrong with him. Right. There was some kids, I say kids, this was, you know, if you're in Asbury, you was a kid and you was hanging about with kids, right? There was a group of kids outside this geezer's house, making noise, doing whatever, being a nuisance, as kids are. He's gone out there, say, oi, get out of it, you lot, whatever he said. Someone's made a phone call, mate is turned up, with a shotgun, and just shot the geezer in the head. Blew it off. All on CCTV. That's how he got caught. And that was the crime he was in for, yeah? I think he was doing life. I can't remember. Do you get... Because I remember he was in stripes, which usually meant you was a lifer. You know, the E-Man suit, blue and yellow E-Man suit. You get put in that if you're an escape risk or if you're a lifer. I was in that jail. I got put in that jail for getting on the roof. But I remember he had the blue and yellow jumpsuit. It might have just been if he was doing a really long time. He was doing a 25. They made a show about this geezer. I made a documentary about him. Right, and he was a quiet fella. He was about back then. I was 5'10", probably weighed about 11 stone. He would probably been about the same, bit less skinny, you know. Quiet, never really give it to anyone really. He was always polite, and yeah, wasn't a troublemaker or nothing. You know, wasn't giving it, throwing his weight around, you know, trying to tell people what was what. He was just getting on with his time, getting on with his bird. He's there, and then the next day, say he's there. He was on the wing from I was on this wing. I was on the same wing for the whole time I was in that jail. Apart from the couple of weeks or week I did in the induction wing. So I'd done a lot. So we was on that ring together for ages. Not together. It wasn't mates. It was, hello mate, what's happening? And the longer you're on the wing, you're not, you know, you know, you might stop and have a chat. One day he's just disappeared. He's gone. He's not on the wing anymore. The screws won't tell us where he is. That about. It's not the first time it's happened, and it won't be the last. So you get on with it. But that night, say just say I forgot the dates, the dates and the days and all that. But just for instance, say he was there on the Wednesday, and he was gone on the Thursday, and on the Thursday night, this is when they showed a documentary about him and his crime. And don't forget, they got the CCTV of the actual shooting, which they showed on the telly. Do you know what? Let me go back a little bit. I've stopped the story there. I'll go back a little bit to when I got sentenced to the 6 years before I went to Asbury. I was probably still in Chelmsford at the time. But when I was on remand and I got the 6 years, yeah, I was in Snaresbrook Crown Court, the court that I got sentenced in, and I got the 6 years. I was there. I'm in the waiting room. I'm in the holding cells underneath the courts, waiting to go back to jail. I forgot the reason I was actually there. Yeah, might have been for another trial, another case. I might have had another case going on. I'm in the holding cells with this geezer, right? Kid, my age. You can only get put in out cells with kids when you're a kid. You can't get put, if you're a child, you can't get put in with an adult, even if you're a YO, 18 to 21. Might have changed, I think it's changed now, but back then, if you're a YO, they put you in with a YO. So I'm in the cell with this geezer, and he's telling me about his trial. And how he got grassed up, blah, blah, blah. He's telling me that, basically he had an argument with a geezer. Someone shot him, and the geezer that shot him grassed everyone up. That's what he's saying, yeah. Oh. Long story short, like we was together all day, and he's telling me all about it, yeah. But long story short, the person that shot the geezer grassed everyone up, and they all got, you know, joint enterprises. Basically, you get nicked. Just say the geezer got nicked for attempted murder. That everyone got nicked for attempted murder, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Terrible story, mate. Unlucky you. We go our separate ways, you know. He's not in the same jail as what I'm in, or whatever. A couple of years later now, I'm in Aylesbury. I'll meet matey, the shooter of this thing, the person they made a documentary about. But I'm not putting two and two together at this point. I'm not remembering what some stranger said to me 2 years ago in a holding cell. I'm watching this documentary now. It's a crime documentary. Said the person's name, whatever, and you think, you know, that's matey. You don't pay no attention, do you, when you beforehand or nothing? You look in and you think, God, it's matey in the TV guide. Where's he gone? Yeah. That night now, it's on telly now, isn't it? The documentary about him. It's all coming to light now why he's not on the wing anymore. Load of people outside his house. They're interviewing the geezer who got shot, yeah, and he's talking like, well, like he's got half his brain missing, you know what I mean? I don't want to like mock the geezer. He's telling everyone what happened, and they're going back into the seas. They're showing CCTV of the night, of the day, talking. They're cutting to him. They're cutting to the old bill. You know what I mean? They're cutting to the investigation. Basically, a load of people outside this geezer's house, revving their motorbikes, like their peds, playing music, being loud. He's gone out, told to be quiet. Someone has phoned up this geezer, yeah, and the person that phoned up was the person that I was in the cell with 2 years ago, yeah. The person that phoned up the shooter was the person. This is all on CCTV, yeah. The person on the phone phoning the shooter who's not there. The person I was in the cell with was this person that was on the phone, so he wasn't totally innocent, but he'd been grassed up. Mate, he's come down, who he's just phoned with the gun, jumped off his bike, or out the car, or whatever, and just shot the geezer in the head, jumped, and then disappeared again. Tried to kill him. I can't remember the ins and outs of everything of how Bill caught this kid. They went into they raided his. They had like the body cam footage of him raiding his bedroom and all that, yeah. And I swear he wrote a rap song about the shooting, as you do, right? So now he's nicked, and they're still filming. They're actually making a documentary. Like, it's not just the footage. There's whatever. The old Bill was getting followed around solving this case. Yeah. This documentary wasn't about the boy. It was about the case. And the documentary crew's just flat out caught him, and he's got his head in his hands like that in the interview room, going, "I'll tell you the names of crack dealers and gun dealers if you let me off, if you do a deal and all that." Just shot a geezer in the head, like he's not going to get let off. But he's panicking, isn't he? And he's basically on camera saying, "I'll snitch, I'll do this, I'll do that." And then all his mates get nicked, and he snitches up all his mates, and they'll get nicked, and they'll go away for murder. That's why he was moved off the wing, because it was all going to come on top for him, you know what I mean? But I didn't put tools. I'd met the geezer's code D 2 years prior, just sitting in the court cells, chatting away to him. He's going, "Yeah, and this happened," and the geezer that shot the fella was grassed everyone up. Now I'm not even saying he was involved, like, you know, he was on the phone. I said, I'm just coming to my own conclusion, saying, "Oh yeah, well, who was he phoning?" You know what I mean? But he doesn't. Even if he did phone the shooter, doesn't mean he said, "Come and shoot matey," does it? But doesn't change the fact I'm just telling you what happened, like, word for word, and in order of the way it happens. You know what I mean? I'm sitting in the cell with matey. He's telling me his Cody's grassed everyone up and got everyone nicked for attempted murder. I've got everyone 20 years plus. 2 years later, I'm on the wing with his Cody. That no one knows he's a grass. And then one day he's there on the twos, and then he's gone. He's just gone after that. And then the documentary's on, saying, basically catching him on camera saying, "I'll give you crack dealers and gun dealers if you let me off." No snitching. You never know who's snitching, mate. That's the thing is, yeah, the amount of times that I've been in that police station as well. Not that police station, but a police station, and at the end of the interview, it's usually the end of the interview, they come in, your solicitor would be gone. "Have you got any information you want to give us? Any?" Go, "Fuck off." You go, "Any scumbags?" You know what I mean? How would you like? Have you got any brothers and sisters? How would you like those to buy guns or drugs? "I'll get on it with my brother, mate. Fuck off." Like, you know what I mean? But how many people just say yes? How many people say yes? "All right, then, yeah, I'll give you this. I'll give you him. I'll give you that." The only person that knows about it is the old bill that you're telling it to, and the judge. A bit of paper between them. Prosecution don't know. Defence don't know. You know, the only person that knows, again, is the judge, and he'll take it into consideration when he sentences you. How many people do that? How many people have gone just folded straight away and gone, "Oh yes, I know loads of drug dealers." Anyway, if you enjoyed that, hit subscribe, and we'll chat tomorrow. Adios.